Hey there, Dawn Fleer, Broker-RiverCity Real Estate. Today I am bringing with you Alicia Skwara. I just listed her home, and in 4 days market, we had a accepted offer on that home. So instead of just having her write down some things and send in a testimony, I thought it would be good for her to tell you about her experience, so that you can kind of release some of your nervousness and angst about buying or selling a home, and then maybe see some of the things that you want to look for in your real estate broker whenever you are searching for one. So Alicia, we are here in her living room. She has invited me to her home, and so I'm just going to ask her some questions, and she's just going to let you know kind of how things worked for her and how she felt in the whole process. So thanks so much for letting me be here. I appreciate that.
No problem.
So like I said, we recently listed your house.
Yes.
And you might not have had any fears necessarily about listing your home, but if you had any anxiousness or any reservation in listing your house, what was that? Like what?
For me, I am a perfectionist, and I don't like to leave things less than better than I found them.
Okay.
So I was very anxious that I had spent about 3 or 4 months preparing my house for market, and I was really fearful that a real estate agent would come in and just rip apart the work that I thought was beautiful, that I thought that was neutral and would appeal to someone. And I was also very nervous that I had a specific goal in mind, that I wanted my house to move quickly. We had already purchased this home, which is not an ideal situation normally. So we're working in the confines of a bridge loan situation. So I can't carry 2 mortgages forever.
Right, exactly.
So I needed a real estate agent that would come in and have an idea that matched mine, a goal, and was willing to accept my feedback, even though it's not necessarily a business that I'm in.
Right.
The business is my home.
Sure, of
So
course.
it's a place that I love.
Yeah.
So that was the anxiousness that I had.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So that resonates with everybody. You love it. It's designed to how you like it, and what we're going to think about it. So yeah, that's a very good, anxious feeling that we all have, and so thanks for sharing that. So hopefully maybe it will help you as you go through those feelings as well. What process did you use to select me, for example, for your real estate agent?
Well, ultimately, I looked at the track record of the person. I wanted someone that when I came in the room, I wanted to talk to him or her, that they had a smile on their face, they had information about my home, and in your case, when you came in to talk to me about my house, you had already done the research. You already had it listed out, laid out before me, what your plan of action was. You showed me samples of this is what I like to present at an open house. You had questions for me about, would you like it to be marketed as an open house? So you were meeting me at the table with all the information that I thought, quite frankly, I was going to have to give. And with others that I had met with too, I did have to give them what I was expecting. You brought those expectations to me and said, this is what I expect of myself. This is what I can bring to the table for you. And it exceeded all of the expectations that I had already set in place.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much. What did I do differently? Kind of touched on that a little bit, but what did I do differently maybe that stuck out or stood out than maybe some other agents or that you
Absolutely. One of the things that I loved the most, I found it so impressive, was the fact that you hand to buyers information about banks and the financing and what my house is going to look like on paper to them, because quite frankly, a price tag of $100,000, $150,000, that's scary.
Right.
People say, I don't have $150,000. But you had something to hand to people walking in my door. In my particular case, it was a smaller home, so a first-time home buyer would be walking in. They especially do not know what to expect with a mortgage. You had laid out, here's what your expense is going to look like with a mortgage. These are the local banks. These are the current rates that you'd be dealing with. I loved that, and I didn't see anyone else that was doing that. So that, for me, saw that you were seeing both sides of the table. You weren't just there to sell my home for me. You were there to bring buyers in that had an expectation of what they were going to get at the end of the day, which ultimately translated into a really,
Right.
really fast offer.
Right,
So.
absolutely. Yeah, and then in your case, like you said, it was, a good first-time home buyer's home, and a lot of times you think that you can't afford to own a home, and so it was my way of showing them that you can own a home
Absolutely.
and have some equity versus renting. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Loved that part.
Good, I'm glad. How did I handle the process for you?
For me, you were a go-getter. So there wasn't a long list of to-dos with my house, but you
Right.
did have some suggestions, which I loved. I don't want it to sit. So
Right.
I need you to tell me, what can I do? But above and beyond that, I don't like, and I told you up front, that I do not like work on the outside of my house.
Right.
Okay, if it's green, I'll kill it.
Right.
My thumb is not there. So, but you presented reasonable evidence to say we need to do something with the outside to invite them in.
Right.
But then you went beyond that to say, look, I know that this is not your forte. I'll get out there. I'll plant some
Right.
flowers. I'll do those things. And you did. You took it upon yourself to do those. That makes you stand out. In addition, it was just little ideas like, let's put a dehumidifier in the basement.
Right.
It's an empty home, so those things are sitting stale.
Yeah.
Those little things were not suggestions that I was hearing from anyone else. In fact,
Okay.
I was hearing, it looks perfect, it looks beautiful,
Right.
it's great, it'll sell itself.
Right.
No house sells itself,
No,
quite
it
frankly.
doesn't.
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't.
And that to me was a red flag with others, that why are they not coming up with something, even if it's just little minor
Right.
things. And the pictures really stood out then when we did those,
Yes.
especially with the front of the house. I had had pictures previously, and you wouldn't have looked twice at them because
Right.
it was a white house, gray
like-
shutters,
yeah.
just like the rest of the block.
That's right, exactly.
All those little flowers and things that I didn't have to deal with made my pictures go, that is a house I need to see.
That's right.
That's a house I need to get into.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, curb appeal is
Yes.
huge. And a lot of times people don't want to, as an agent, you want to walk in and say all these things to do to a home, but you want to be honest and you want to help them to get the house ready to sell the best that you possibly can. Because in my opinion, not only is it your home, but now my name's on it.
That's exactly
right. So that's important to me that I bring that.
Yes. Well, and it was nice that even though you were saying that those things were things that needed to be done, you weren't saying, Alicia, you go deal with all of these.
Right, absolutely.
Here's your honey-do list. Glad you worked 4 months getting it ready, but here's a long list that says, no, you said, let me handle
Right.
it. Let me work this with you. And there were things that I did
Yeah, absolutely.
that I was happy to do, and,
Yeah.
and we talked about that up front. But I just really loved that it was not, I've got a list of things for you to put forth,
Right.
but I'm going to put zero effort into helping you make this happen.
Right.
That was so the opposite of my
Yes.
experience. You were there with your gloves on,
Yes.
planting the flowers that I would have killed otherwise.
And they lasted.
They did.
For the new
Yes,
owner.
they did.
So that's exciting. We had some hot days,
That's
too.
right, we sure did.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say to a friend in recommending me as an agent for them?
Well, I'll give you the pitch that I've given that's already sent people your way. I tell them that the proof is in the pudding. So they, especially my friends that have seen my house beforehand, they knew what it looked like. I kept hearing time and time again, who is your realtor? It looks amazing. It looks like a house that I want to go see, and I already know the house.
Right.
So when you're getting that kind of feedback from friends and family who've known this house, I own that house for 12 years. So many of them have walked through my doors many, many times over that. When they're getting that feedback, that's exactly what I tell friends and family when I'm recommending them. My realtor was able to take my home that everyone knew and made it look like a house that they wanted to come through that door. Even after 12 years, they wanted to take a second look. They wanted to figure out if it would work for them.
That's right.
And that's the kind of realtor that you want. It works every time. I think people want to not have to do the work. We already work jobs full time, and you are paying for a service that you want to see work for you. And that was never a question in my mind. Now, depending upon the person too, I also noticed that you really tailored the way you worked with me versus with others. just in how you were in constant communication when I needed you to be, but then when I said, yeah, you know what, I'm good, don't worry about giving me a buzz,
yeah,
and then I would just get, you know, a text here and there
yes.
from you just to check in.
Yeah.
I loved that. You followed the direction and lead that I would give,
right.
And I appreciated that you heard what I was saying, because sometimes the constant communication, when I didn't need it, would have caused me more anxiety in the process. Exactly. So you just flowed beautifully with everything that we needed, and throughout what felt like a really short process, but in the same time, getting to that end game can feel like it just, you know.
Yes.
So it went by so quickly, and I was almost a little bit bummed that it was over, in the sense that I enjoyed talking to you.
I know. Now it's almost like, well,
that's right, exactly.
We'll see you later. Yeah.
So
well, I appreciate all of that, and that is my goal, really, to come into a home. In this case, you know, we're selling Alicia's home, and just come into it and to take a look around and to invest not only in the home that you're selling, but also in the client as a relationship. My goal is to build a relationship with you as my client, to get to know you, to know what you love about the house, and that's usually what's going to sell that house, what you love about it, because you had passion and drive and those things in that home. So I just thank you so much for letting me stop in today.
Of course.
And to get your feedback. And I really hope that it helps some of you as you look for a broker. Maybe some of those things that Alicia said you haven't experienced before, or you didn't realize that agents do that. There are some really great agents that will come in and get their hands dirty and really help you sell and to find a home to buy. So anyway, I just thank you so much again for that, and it's been a pleasure helping you sell your home.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you closed and you can move forward, you and your family, and just I just appreciate everything that you allowed me to do. So.
Absolutely, no, thank you. If there ever comes a day where we do leave this house, there's no question in our mind, we will be back with you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. And thanks for joining us, guys. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Continue to check out the videos that I'll be posting, testimonials. My goal is to share some things also about Quincy, different things that maybe can help you from loans from banks, and some stagers and things like that will help you in selling or buying. And don't forget, contact me anytime, 217-242-9546. Or email me, dawnflair@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to walk you through your purchase or your sell, and get that house sold for you. And thank you so much again for joining us this evening. Bye.